I asked myself a question. At the end of my life, am I going to say, boy, I wish I would have? And can I live with myself if I don't do this? And the answer was no.
How many steps do you need to take to capture and manifest your personal vision?
And fitness experts are urging people to take at least 10,000 steps a day. It sounds like a lot until you meet the first American woman to walk all the way around the world.
How far are you willing to go to achieve your greatest goals?
Definition of commitment. When you find a way over every hurdle in your path, and nothing but success is an option. Commitment. And at that single moment, I swear to you, I just thought, I'm gonna do this.
How far can you go when self-imposed limitations are no longer your basic truth?
And I remember walking home one night, thinking about it all, when I had my light bulb moment. And it's that moment I know you've all had, when suddenly the stars are aligned and you know you're on to something, and I thought, that's what I'll do that walk for that I've always wanted to do. And immediately I loved the idea of a woman walking for women and educating women around the world about this disease that unfortunately bonds us all. So this light bulb went off and my head started spinning with all the questions. All the questions. Can I do it? Could I really walk 15 miles a day every day? And how will I stay safe? Should I take a dog with me? No, maybe I'll learn Taekwondo. Maybe pepper spray. I hope I don't have to carry a gun with me. And how can I pay for this? I will have to get sponsors. Well, how do I get sponsors? You'll have to make a business plan. Well, how do you make a business plan? And how do I get across the borders and visas and languages and food? My head is spinning. And that's when I started planning my global walk for breast cancer.
Polly Letofsky is an international speaker and best-selling author.
This was absolutely one of the most motivational, entertaining, but very pertinent kind of speeches about the things we face each day.
Polly Letofsky has captured the attention of a global community and inspired meaningful action.
5 years ago, Polly Letofsky sold everything she owned and started walking around the world to raise money to fight breast cancer. 20 countries and a couple of dozen pairs of sneakers later, Polly crossed the finish line on Friday in her hometown of Vail, Colorado.
Polly Letofsky left her Colorado home and headed west across 4 continents, 22 countries, and over 14,000 miles by foot to become the first woman to walk around the world. Through her unprecedented journey and global collaboration, Polly helped raise over $250,000 for global awareness of breast cancer.
I was 4 miles into my big worldwide journey, and I ran into these 2 fishermen on the Gore Creek right outside Vail, if you know it. And they went, "You're walking around the world? That's fantastic. When did you leave?" I'm like, about 10:30. But I kept heading down Highway 6 to Glenwood Springs. I turned left to Aspen, up over the Rockies, and aimed for the 4 Corners, across the high desert plains of Arizona, and caught Route 66 right to the Pacific coast, and prepared for my 3.5 years of walking overseas. I learned a lot of lessons.
I traveled near, I traveled far. I've traveled far out where those dream time stories are. Don't have no home, ain't got no car, but I've always got Australia.
So I carried on through Singapore and across the causeway into Malaysia, and that's where the real foreign leg of this journey began. Malaysia, the Lions Clubs, Rotary Clubs are enormous there, and when they talk about something, everybody listens, including the government. And I don't think there was a step that I took where the Lions Clubs and now Rotary Clubs weren't with me and helping me pass out brochures in all the languages and organizing press conferences and educational forums. The 5 national newspapers representing the 5 languages in Malaysia covered the progress of this walk, an average of 3 times a week. And we're talking about breast cancer for the first time, talking about symptoms, local doctors in the area telling stories of survival. And when I reached halfway through the country, one of the members of parliament in Malaysia came out to greet me with 100 of her colleagues. She officially declared it the start of a breast cancer awareness campaign in her country. This was my first Muslim country, and everyone told me that you can't possibly talk about breast cancer. And the success was overwhelming. And 2 days later, the events of 9/11 slammed us all into a crossroads in world history.
In the middle of Polly's journey, the world suddenly shifted on its axis when September 11 flung us all into a crossroads in world history. Polly suddenly found herself embedded in a vastly changing world and realized she could never retrace her steps home. They'd vanished in a tide of world events.
I became keenly aware that I was no longer just a woman walking for women. Clearly now, I was an American woman with a Jewish name, walking through a Muslim country during Holy Jihad, talking about breasts. So that's where I was. I kept walking. It was these obstacles. We can't let them be used as an excuse to stop. We can use these obstacles to find a new way to do something. And I would always remember when I would get nervous about something, where does fear come from? Fear comes from the unknown. So my great plan, get to know it. So I read the guidebooks cover to cover, and I watched documentaries, and I spoke with Indian people. I was as ready as you could ever be. But let me tell you something, just in case you're tempted to try this at home. Nothing can prepare you for walking across India alone, by foot, as a woman.
I stopped to just look for a second at all the chaos. I mean, you can't imagine the chaos. There's trucks and buses and cars filling the road with absolutely no road rules at all, and people roaming the streets, and the cows run free. And I just wanted to stop for a second and get my head around it and look around. But when I stopped for a matter of 10 seconds, all the men of the village came and surrounded me. They surrounded me in a circle of 10 people deep.
And it wasn't in a threatening way, but this great curiosity.
Polly's GlobalWalk has been featured in over 2,000 newspapers, magazines, radio, and television stations around the world, including Good Housekeeping, CNN International, the CBS Early Show, NBC's Your Total Health, and Fine Living Channel's Radical Sabbatical.
I was in the highest area in the world for malaria during high season. And it was only a matter of time before one of these mosquitoes got me good. And I needed help. But I was in the central tribal regions of India. Who can I get help from? So I was pressed for time. I was short on resources. And I had a big, big challenge ahead of me. Sound like your job some days? But again, we cannot use these excuses to stop. We have to take these obstacles and use them as opportunities to find a new way.
Polly's inspiring keynote personifies the spirit of commitment and perseverance, compelling your audience to take on life's biggest challenges, one step at a time, little steps, big feet.
I carried on through Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. Emotionally, I just was spent. I just really wanted to go home. But I was really nervous to go home too, because what if all these things that people had been saying about Americans in my country since 9/11 were true?
In her engaging and riveting presentation, Polly encourages renewed commitment to achieve the seemingly unachievable. Her audiences leave with an awakened sense of their own personal will to move past obstacles and embrace a new spirit in their work and lives.
And I really focused on what I could control. I couldn't control the 120-degree heat. I could not control the world events swirling on around me. I couldn't control the male-dominated society or the chaotic driving. I could only control getting up and putting one foot in front of the other.
She accomplished it. She put one foot in front of the other all the way around the world. Look what you can accomplish.
For booking information, please contact the person who provided this program.